Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I'm Andrew Hansen, and it is Friday, the first day of 2021. So happy New Year, everybody. I'm excited to be here with you to break down this 10-game NBA slate. We'll go game by game, as we always do. But first, we had a really exciting night last night and a great transition into this year. And I want to talk to you about that and give you details on how you can join us and share in the big wins, because we had a great night on Draftkings. We had a $700 winner and a $150 winner using our Draftkings coaches clipboard. And then most importantly, the FanDuel lineup we gave out was tremendous. It's the hybrid lineup, cash and hybrid. We give that out every slate, a full lineup on FanDuel, and it scored 348.9. We stacked that Sacramento-Houston game, which was high scoring as anticipated. It stayed close. So it was perfect for what we were looking for. And we had a member turn $10 into $625 in a single entry contest on FanDuel. Another one turned 10 into $250. A lot of folks doubling up. We really stressed the double up cash games at DFS Coach Talk to try to help you slowly build the bankroll. So shout out to some of our members here who posted their winners. They include Broncos fan, Beat DM Joe, Jason, Deb, OG, D-Har, Great One, Alan, DIY Guy, and Warrior Chad in no particular order, but just excited to make this transition into 2021 with such a great winning night. So if you want to join us and get that hybrid lineup, we've won 3 nights in a row with it, going for 4 today. Then there's 2 ways to do it. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see on the bottom of the screen the tremendous offer from BetUS, which is still available, $149, and you get to use that money on BetUS as well as have a free membership with us all the way until April 1st. You get our lineups every night. In addition to the hybrid lineup on FanDuel, we give out a full GPP lineup as well, and that DraftKings coaches clipboard. Same thing with football. We give out those lineups every slate. Golf is starting up, and then MLB when it starts as well. So that's the offer there. Make sure to use that promo code CoachTalk, all one word. If you're not into the sports betting, you can still join us for that $149 from now until April 1st. Just go to our website. You can see it at the top of the screen on YouTube, dfscoachtalk.com. Sign up there, and then we'll send you an email with a link to get into our Discord. That's where we give out the lineups about 30 minutes before lock in the NBA. So that's the story here, and the goal is to continue to crush it here in 2021 and have a great year, very profitable, and we invite you to continue to join us on this journey. So thank you for all your support. All right, let's get into this 10-game slate, and we have 6 teams involved in a back-to-back. We have 4 totals over 230 on BetUS, and then 1 over 240. That's that Atlanta-Brooklyn rematch, which is exciting, so we'll get to that here in a bit. But starting with the 7 o'clock games, Memphis and Charlotte. The news with Memphis is that Melton is, of course, out, along with Ja, just like the last one. And now we have Grayson Allen doubtful. So this is the first big piece of news here. We're recording this in the early afternoon on Friday. If Allen is out, one value play that's popping up for me is Desmond Bain, 3,700 on both sites. He stepped up in that last game when Allen got hurt, finished with 32 minutes, 16 points, 4 rebounds. And on the season, he's 9 of 17 on three-pointers. So really like that option, especially on DraftKings with the extra bonus for the three-pointers. Tyus Jones, really didn't do too much in that first start with Ja out, and he's still in the 5K range, so not really excited about him in a game with a total of 219.5. Dylan Brooks still in play in the 6K range. On the Charlotte side, not really excited about this group here with the pricing. We've got so much mixed usage with the guards, and LaMelo Ball had a great game against Dallas in that surprise win on the road, but now he's priced up over 5,000. So to me, that would be a GPP play. I do really like his trend in minutes, though. Last 3 games, he's gone from 15 to 20 to 29. Hayward is a little bit too expensive to me for GPPs. You could look at him in cash, more so on DraftKings at 7,100. He did get up 16 shots against Dallas, but only made 4 of them. So not too excited about him. Bismack Biyombo, 30 minutes again, 3 straight. So you really feel good about that. He is a cash game option for me, right around that $5K price tag. All right, game 2, we've got the Celtics traveling to Detroit. They are 9-point favorites on BetUS, over-under only 213. So in general, I'm not really excited about this game. I think there's a good chance it'll be similar to the last one for Boston with that easy win against Memphis. Guys don't have to play too much. Jaylen Brown certainly played well, career high 42, so congratulations to him. Around that 8K mark, though, I don't think I'm going to go there. Tatum, it hasn't really been worth the price here, especially when they just don't need him that much. You need heavy minutes from him on a 10-game slate to pay his price tag. I will mention Jeff Teague, though. If he starts again at just over 4,000, he is in play for me. Probably the guy that I like the most, well, maybe second most on the Celtics, because I do like Tristan Thompson. He sat out the last game. But remember, the last time he played against Indiana, his last game, he had 27 minutes and 29 DraftKings points. And he's only 4,200 on DraftKings and 43 on FanDuel. So there's a bit of a value play, punt play, that you could use at center to pay up at the other positions. On the Detroit side, Blake Griffin is out with the concussion. Killian Hayes is questionable. So 2 big pieces of news there. If Hayes is out, Derrick Rose is in play. He's almost 6,000 on DraftKings, 5,700 on FanDuel. So to me, probably a GPP play. Guy who's obviously taking longer shots. He did get up 18 field goal attempts in the last game in only 26 minutes. But you can't count on him, to have a big scoring night necessarily. Doesn't have quite the same lift as he did younger in his career around the rim. But he's in play for me. Would like to get to Jeremy Grant, but he's pretty expensive, almost 7,000. I do like that he's gotten at least 20 field goal attempts in 2 straight. So you got to figure he'll have the opportunity for something similar with Blake Griffin out. So you could go there, but you do have to pay for it. Josh Jackson in play for me, especially on FanDuel at only 4,800. As we get going through this slate here, one of the themes is going to be that there are a number of options in the cheaper range at small forward. So that's the problem there. Is it's pretty crowded, lots of choices. That's probably it, though, for me. And I'm basically going to avoid this game. It would probably at most be a one-off. All right, game 3. We have Miami traveling to Dallas. Dallas only 1-3 after that disappointing loss to Charlotte. And Luka has just not quite been clicking. So I'm not going to pay over 10,000 on DraftKings for him. Kleba was questionable, but as of right now, it's looking like he's probable. So the front court should still be crowded. And I'm not willing to invest in anyone in the backcourt. They're all at playable prices, but you just can't really predict who might get the most shots and who might do the best. Last game it was Brunson, and he's at a good price, but I don't know if he'll get that much usage or that many minutes as he did in the last one. On the Miami side, Jimmy Butler is probable, so that changes a lot of things for Miami. Bam almost had a triple-double in the last game against Milwaukee, but Jimmy Butler didn't play. And we know when he does, he takes away a little bit of that usage from Bam because he has the ball in his hands more. Tyler Hero, probably the only guy I'm going to look at in a fair amount of lineups on the Miami side. He's still only 5,300 on FanDuel. And again, if you haven't been paying attention, he's in that small forward position. A little bit strange for a lead guard like that, but very impressive. 15 rebounds in the last game to go along with 21 points. Not expecting a double-double again from him in terms of rebounds, but 5,300 is a great price for him. I will also mention Kelly Olynyk. only 3,900 on DraftKings value play at the center position. Great game against Milwaukee, and he got 29 minutes. So there's a GPP option. Okay, the next one here is the one we've been waiting for. It's Atlanta and Brooklyn. This is the total with 244.5. It's a rematch of the Wednesday night game that finished 145 to 141. That was an exciting shootout, and hopefully we'll get something similar here. Trae Young has just been ruled in. He's dealing with a bit of a calf issue, so that scares me a little bit. We need him to use that quickness, but I think he's good to go for me in a bunch of lineups because I really want to get significant exposure to this game. In terms of the rest of Atlanta, the guy I like the most is John Collins, and we talked about how in that game on Wednesday it was the perfect game environment for him to have a breakout, and he finally did, getting 30 and 10, and he hasn't been priced up appropriately. 7,200 on DraftKings, 7,000 on FanDuel. He's in play for me on both sites. And then it looks like DeAndre Hunter is going to play. I was hoping that he'd be out so we could get some value out on the wing with Atlanta. But if he plays, we're still a little bit crowded with Hunter, Bogdanovich, Cam Reddish, and Herter. We do have Rondo out, so it's one more reason to feel good about Trae Young getting full minutes. I think with the guys that are there on the wing, Hunter on FanDuel is another one of these value plays at small forward at 4,200. I like that price. Bogdanovich I like. I wish he wasn't 5,400, but you could look there. On the Brooklyn side, just like on Wednesday, it's Kevin Durant for me. 9,100 on DraftKings. I will pay that. 94 on FanDuel. I will also pay that. If you want to stack the game in a GPP, you could add Kyrie Irving here to the mix. Got up his 27 shots on Wednesday. Only made 10. But we've seen here now a clear pattern emerge. When those guys are playing, they are getting the majority of the shots for the starters. So it makes it a lot tougher. I mean, a guy like TLC, he got that start with Dinwiddie out. He played 26 minutes. He only got 5 shots. So it's risky to go to one of these value plays. You're just not sure how many shots they're going to get with KD and Kyrie in the lineup. But TLC is only 3,600 on DraftKings, and that's a GPP option for me. Hope that he gets more like 10 shots and hits a few 3-pointers. LeVert, a little bit pricey here. Jared Allen, you like that spot. Easy double-double for him last game against Atlanta. They don't have anyone on the bench, really, that they're trusting right now as a backup center to defend him. Joe Harris is another one of those cheap small forwards on FanDuel. So a lot of guys to keep in mind here because of the potential high-scoring nature of this matchup. All right, last game here before our break here, 8 o'clock tip-off. We've got Chicago against Milwaukee. Chicago's got a back-to-back here after that shootout win against Washington, 133 to 130. And the group that was out due to health protocols is out again for them. That's Lauri Markkanen, Chandler Hutchinson, Satoransky, and Arcidiacono. So we have 3 potential value plays coming off the bench for Chicago that all got big minutes in the last game. Garrett Temple, Thaddeus Young, and then Daniel Gafford. All of those guys are in the 3K range on both sites. I think you could look to one of them as a value play. In terms of the starters for Chicago, love the minutes and usage here with Kobe White and Zach LaVine, as we've been talking about here throughout the preseason and the beginning of the regular season. Tougher matchup for those guys with the likes of Drew Holiday defending them. And Kobe White played big minutes last game yesterday, 40 minutes. I think they'll have the legs to come back and give it a good run here. But just not thrilled about the matchup. But it is intriguing to me here. And then on I should mention Otto Porter. $4,400 on FanDuel is a great price at small forward, and he was tremendous, 28-12 against Washington. So again, back to back, but he's probably the guy I like the most. That particular price, Porter as a small forward on FanDuel. On the Milwaukee side, it's the big three to consider: Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis. And he got a much more Giannis-like performance in that second game against Miami with a big triple-double. He played 38 minutes. I don't know if he'll have to play that much here today, so I think it's a little risky. It's potential blowout situation. They are favored by 14.5 on BetUS. But it is one of these higher totals at 234.5. So for me, it's a bit of a dice roll there with Giannis. He is probably the most expensive guy on this slate that I would consider in a GPP, and you gotta hope that he basically goes for that triple double in 3 quarters. I just don't know if he'll have to play in the fourth. Middleton, still a good price for his upside, and then Drew Holiday, probably my favorite option on Milwaukee, 6,600 on both sites. Good price for him. All right, before we get to the second half of the slate, let's hear the details. For those of you who are not watching on YouTube, these podcasts, of course, are free wherever podcasts can be found. So if you're listening, check out this tremendous offer from BetUS.
Listen up, sports bettors. It's go time, so put down the beer and make every sporting event more exciting by putting stakes on the line. Earn bragging rights over friends as you rake in the cash from each week's betting action, but don't settle for any other book. Choose America's favorite sportsbook with over 25 trusted years in the industry. You need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity, and most importantly, a sportsbook that pays. BetUS has your game with action on football, baseball, and basketball, MMA, golf, horses, and even esports. No other sportsbook welcomes newcomers like BetUS with their jaw-dropping sign-up bonuses. Now we have the best book in the industry teamed up with the best DFS provider in the industry. Make your first deposit of $149 at betus.com.pa with promo code CoachTalk and receive a free membership with DFS Coach Talk with full access to our DFS lineups in NBA, NFL, PGA, and MLB, the best in the biz. Sign up today to make straight bets, future bets, prop bets, entertainment bets, live bets, and more. No other sportsbook in the industry is committed to their users like BetUS. So sign up now and get on the winning side of the ball.
Welcome back, and thank you again to BetUS for extending that offer. It is tremendous. It's not too good to be true, but jump in now while it's still there. $149. You get to use that money on BetUS and have membership with us all the way until April 1st. Use that promo code CoachTalk, all one word. And then if you just want the regular membership with us, again, go to our website, dfscoachtalk.com. We'll get you into our Discord. That's where we give out our full lineups on FanDuel and the Draftkings Coaches Clipboard. All right. The next 8 o'clock game to discuss, the Wizards against the Timberwolves. Wizards 0-5 now, and they've got a back-to-back here after that shootout loss to Chicago. And we've got Russell Westbrook sitting on the second night of a back-to-back. So it's another Raul Neto value day. 3,400 on DraftKings. Tough to argue with that price. I think I will be paying it. And last time he started, remember, he got 32 minutes, over 20 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. So he's much more productive than he has been in recent years when he's out on the court. 4,500 on FanDuel, a little bit tougher, but I think he's still worth it. Timberwolves are just not good really in any category. Beal is in a good spot here to get up a bunch of shots. Last time Westbrook was out of the lineup, he got 29 field goal attempts. So I think he'll be featured in the offense. But the thing with this game is it's another one of these on paper from Vegas good situations because it's one of the 230 games. In terms of the total, it's 233.5 on BetUS. Timberwolves favored by 1, so it could potentially be a high-scoring close game. The problem is, will the Timberwolves actually be able to score and get this game to where we want it to be? Because with Karl Anthony Towns out, they are a real mess. They've lost by 36 to the Lakers and 23 to the Clippers. So I'm just worried about this one because of the Timberwolves' poor offense and lack of any sort of enthusiasm or intensity. D'Angelo Russell just kind of floating around out there. Rubio doesn't look to be in great shape to me or very productive yet. And all the guys that they're passing it to on the wing, Beasley's been okay. Culver, recent 0 for 10. Edwards has been decent off the bench, but it's basically split minutes with all these guys. And yeah, they're at decent prices, but who are you going to trust on that team right now? I'm not really interested in investing in any of them today. The one guy who's still in play for me is Naz Reid. With Towns out, he's got a great opportunity. And I did have some exposure to him in the last slate and was disappointed because in that second half, he played about 3 minutes. Then they pulled him in the third quarter and he sat the rest of the game. And from the post-game comments from Coach Saunders, it seems that it was an issue with the defensive switching. And it seems that Reid may not have been following the game plan like they wanted him to. So, here's that classic situation at his price in this context where you may not really want to trust him in cash because obviously we've seen that his minutes aren't locked in. But for a GPP, in a high scoring game potentially, I do like him at 5,200 on DraftKings, not quite as much, but on FanDuel, the nice thing is he's a power forward eligible at only 4,700. So I do like him over there for GPPs. All right, let's get to the Lakers and Spurs rematch. They also played on Wednesday. Lakers won that one 121-107. And LeBron currently listed as questionable. So if he's out, then we've got an immediate bump to Kuzma, especially on FanDuel. He's only 4,100 over there. If he's starting, I really like that price. He's a little bit more expensive on DraftKings. Not sure I'd get to him there. AD would get a bump, of course, with LeBron out, but a little bit hesitant to go there. Schroeder is the guy that I'm probably, the most confident in, and like his price on FanDuel again at only 6,200. He's been right in that range here recently as a shooting guard. Good core guy for your lineups. Got as many shots as AD against the Spurs in the last game. So really like his involvement in the offense this year. On the Spurs side, we're right back to a classic Spurs game of a crowded situation. Avoid it at all costs because LaMarcus Aldridge is questionable. So if he's back in the lineup, we know that Derek White is back in. So he's playing now with that toe issue. So now it's just too many guys. And we don't know the starting lineups right now. I have a feeling White will come off the bench for at least a game. We'll see. But either way, I'm not going to pay for those guys. DeMar DeRozan back over 7,000 on DraftKings now. 7,300 is doable, but I just don't trust it in this game. So probably going to fade the Spurs completely and possibly Schroeder for the Lakers and maybe Kuzma as a value play if LeBron happens to be out. All right, Phoenix and Denver as we get to the 9 o'clock games. And man, Phoenix is in a rough back-to-back situation. They just played in Utah last night, and they got the win, but now they have to go to Denver. So really tough to make that transition from Utah to the Mile High City. And it's a game that you'd probably want to avoid on a 10-game slate anyway. Slower pace, decent defense. Total's only 222.5 on BetUS. There are a couple intriguing prices with Phoenix, like Chris Paul on DraftKings at 6,800. Crowder's under 5,000 on both sites. Booker's only 7,700 on FanDuel. But they are playing Denver, in this back-to-back situation. So very good chance I won't play anybody from Phoenix. On the Denver side, the news is that Jamal Murray is probable. So looks like we won't have the Monte Morris value play as a starter. If Murray doesn't play, if he gets scratched again, then Monte Morris is in a great spot on FanDuel because he's only 4,000. Yeah, he's going to have to deal with Chris Paul, but he played 37 minutes when Murray was out in the last one, and with that many minutes at 4,000, I would play him. I would consider him. Obviously, I do like Neto as well at 4,500. How about this, though? Our boy Michael Porter Jr. is out, and he played 40 minutes against Sacramento. So that opens up a ton. And I think the guy that benefits the most is Will Barton. And he's been coming off the bench here as a six man. But if he gets back into a 35-minute type situation here, 5,500 on DraftKings. I like him over there. Not quite as much on FanDuel because he's in that crowded FanDuel small forward position at 5,000. But I like Barton on DraftKings, and then Jokic would be the GPP play. Over 10,000, he's been absolutely tremendous, but I'm looking at this as a lower scoring game, not quite as many possessions. So you have to hope that he just absolutely dominates in the minutes that he's out there, which he has been doing, so certainly possible, but not a cash game option for me tonight. All right, Clippers and the Jazz, the other 9 o'clock game here on the East Coast. And the Jazz, as we mentioned, in that back-to-back situation, they get to stay at home at least. But now they get the Clippers coming in at almost full strength and back in the groove after that easy win against Portland. How about Kawhi Leonard out there in that mask? And it looked like it really didn't slow him down much. I mean, he just looked like an assassin out there. And, they didn't need him much in that fourth quarter in the easy win. But at 9,200 on DraftKings, he's interesting to me. This is likely to be lower scoring again, just like the other 9 o'clock game. 221 is the over/under on BetUS. But he can absolutely smash it. So you could have an interesting lineup on DraftKings if you go stars and scrubs and you get Durant and Kawhi in there. On FanDuel, not quite as excited about him because he's 9,800. Paul George, still much cheaper on FanDuel, 7,800. It's doable, but I probably won't go there. I'm just not excited about getting much exposure to this game. And Batum, maybe we do get one more value play here, one more day with Morris out. So he keeps creeping up in price. Now he's 4,700 on FanDuel, but playable. He looks good out there. He's getting decent minutes, involved on both ends. And, the Clippers have to be excited about having him. He's perfect for what they need right now. On the Utah side, Donovan Mitchell is interesting on DraftKings at 6,800. Royce O'Neal, 3,900 on FanDuel. He was our man last night in that late night position for our hybrid. So we were rooting for him in Discord. That was a lot of fun. He pulled through with a solid game and got us where we needed to go. 3,900 is a good price for him if you need a really cheap power forward. And then Rudy Gobert on DraftKings, if you're into the cash game, I think you could look there. He's basically a lock every night for 40 DraftKings points, so you're getting about 6x return over there. But that's about it. Not going to get much exposure to that game. All right, the last game of the night. Portland and Golden State, 10:30 Eastern tip-off. Both teams 2-2, and this is the second highest total on the board at 235. Portland favored by 3.5. On the Portland side, Gary Trent Jr. is questionable with that calf issue. Good price for him, but I'm a little bit worried since it is a calf issue. He's coming off the bench, so I'm unlikely to go there. Lillard has the narrative here. He always plays well going back to Oakland, but pretty expensive, especially on DraftKings, almost $10,000. I don't think I'm going to do that. I would much rather pay $300 more for Trae Young. On FanDuel, $9,300. You could stomach that, but it's pricey, and he's coming off that game against the Clippers where he shot 0 for 8 on three-pointers. And, C.J. McCollum has really been great here this season. So, Lillard hasn't been in mid-season smash form. So GPP only for me. Covington, 4,600 on DraftKings. This is just like the carrot that's very tempting as DraftKings dangles it out in front of us. He's just got so much talent, and he's just, again and again, not getting many shots. Melo's back, so he's getting minutes. But one of these days, he's going to wake up and remember that he's Robert Covington, hit a few threes, get a bunch of rebounds, a few steals, couple blocks. And this is the potential game environment. Golden State certainly continues to push it. So the more possessions you get, the better opportunity for Covington to hit value. On the Golden State side, we've got an exciting situation because Draymond Green is finally probable. Hopefully he'll get out there. The NBA is a lot more fun. Golden State's a lot more fun to watch when he's out there. Interestingly, Eric Paschall is questionable with the knee, so it might just be a substitution there with Draymond's in. Juan Toscano-Anderson figure will go back to the bench, and Paschall might be sitting and watching this one. So we'll keep an eye on the news on that one. As for the rest of Golden State, Steph, almost 10K. He's expensive, but I like the spot here. Portland not great defensively against the guards. And then Andrew Wiggins, dare I say, a potential cash game option on FanDuel at 6,400 in the shooting guard position. And you got to love how he got 19 shots against Detroit, and he's been mixing in a few assists. The one drawback here is if Draymond is back in the lineup, we know that he likes to be involved in the offense and setting things up and facilitating. So he might take a little bit away in terms of ball handling and assist upside for Andrew Wiggins. All right, that concludes our 10-game slate overview. Couple things here before we wrap up. If you could, on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe. Hit the alert button so you know when our podcasts post. We're doing about 5 per week on YouTube and wherever podcasts can be found. We're doing a couple podcasts per week on average. That's the plan for members only. Yesterday, we did not do a podcast that we publicized. So that's one of the key reasons to become a member, so that you know what we're thinking on those other days, and you're able to get our lineups, of course. So we put the extra time into building the lineups yesterday instead of doing that podcast, and it really paid off for our members. So invite you to join us there. As for the rest of social media, if you have any questions, you can find us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. One more reason to go there is that we've been releasing 2 or 3 favorite plays of the day about 15 minutes before lock. Sometimes it's a value play. Sometimes it's a real cheap player. Sometimes it's a game stack. Yesterday, we highlighted the Sacramento-Houston game as a game stack, and we highlighted Barnes and the center, Holmes, for Sacramento, and they were both tremendous smashed values. So do follow us there. You can follow me on Twitter at Language Olympic. You can follow the coach at JOESARVADI, who we are still thinking about every day, hoping he'll get back here soon, hoping his health will continue to improve. And then you can follow Shane, of course, at DET Sports Shane. Make sure to check out the football podcasts that are posting today here on Friday for the Week 17 main slate. We did the quarterback show, wide receiver, tight end show, and then the running backs show. All right, that will do it for today. We should be back again tomorrow for another podcast. We look forward to that. In the meantime, jump in with us as members. Let's crush it again here on Friday night. On behalf of the DFS Coach Talk team, I am Andrew Hansen. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time as we look to crush it in DFS.